Ever feel like your thoughts are just a runaway train, overwhelmed by the daily grind, wishing you could just hit pause on all that chaos buzzing around in your head? Well, what if there was this, time-tested practice, and it's now backed by science and even AI that could actually help you take control?
Right. And that practice we're really diving into today is meditation. Think of it like mental training, an ancient way to work on your attention and awareness, sort of like exercise for your brain instead of your muscles.
Mm-hmm.
You're strengthening that ability to be present, focused, and ultimately calmer.
And this isn't just some, airy-fairy idea. It has real, actual effects. We're talking genuine benefits for your mental and physical well-being, and that's exactly what we're going to explore in this deep dive.
Exactly. We've looked at a whole lot of information studies showing how meditation can help you, different techniques you can try out. It's really long history. And even this fascinating new angle of how AI is starting to play a role. Our goal is really just to pull out the most valuable stuff for you.
Okay, so our mission here is pretty straightforward. Give you a clear picture of what meditation actually is, why it might matter to you, how you could start without feeling totally lost, and maybe even where it's heading in the future. No confusing jargon, just the need-to-know stuff. Right, let's unpack this, starting with what the science actually says.
Well, what's really compelling is just how much research there is now. It's not just anecdotes anymore. Study after study shows that regular meditation can significantly dial down psychological stress and genuinely improve your overall emotional state.
And significant, yeah. I saw that analysis over 12,000 people dealing with anxiety, depression, and mindfulness. Meditation basically held its own against standard treatments like therapy, even meds. That feels like a pretty big deal.
It really is, and it matches up with what people who meditate actually report. Feeling less stressed, more emotionally steady day to day. But it's not just a feeling. Science backs it up. Meditation can actually lower cortisol levels, that's the main stress hormone, and boost your mood over time. It helps build a stronger foundation for emotional well-being.
So it's not just finding a calm moment, but actually building resilience, like for future stress.
Precisely. And it's more than just reducing negative feelings. Research links mindfulness to increased subjective well-being. Basically, a more positive outlook generally, and greater life satisfaction. You tend to feel more positive emotions and become less reactive when negative stuff pops up. Think of it like meditation can help turn down the volume on your brain's alarm system so you're not constantly triggered by daily hassles.
Ah, okay. So instead of being thrown around by every mood, you get better at just noticing those feelings without getting swept away.
That's a core skill. It helps you build, yeah.
Yeah.
Observing thoughts and emotions without judgment. And it also tends to nurture compassion, both for yourself and for others, which definitely enriches your emotional life.
Okay, so better mental health, that's a huge one. But the brain changes, that Harvard study you mentioned. 8 weeks of mindfulness actually led to growth in the hippocampus. Isn't that the memory and learning part? And empathy, too. Wow. Yeah. Imagine strengthening your memory just by, practicing mindfulness.
That's right. And the study also found growth in areas linked to self-awareness and compassion. And maybe even cooler was the amygdala, the brain's fear and stress center. As people reported feeling less stressed, the density of their amygdala actually decreased.
Wow. So literally less stress, literally a smaller stress center. That's amazing. It shows how adaptable the brain is. And it wasn't just structure, right? It was function too, like attention span and working memory.
Absolutely. One study showed improvements in attention and memory after just 13 minutes a day for 8 weeks, which really underlines that even short, consistent practice can make a noticeable difference cognitively.
Okay, mental benefits are clear. But the physical side, lower blood pressure, better heart health. It almost sounds, too good to be true.
Well, it's definitely an active research area, but there's some really promising evidence. Practices like mindfulness and transcendental meditation have been linked to better cardiovascular health. You might have seen that Brown University study looked at people with hypertension, found a significant drop in blood pressure average of about 15 points after just a 9-week mindfulness program.
15 points. Wow, that's often what you see with medication, isn't it?
It can be, yeah. Researchers think mindfulness helps in a few ways. It boosts your attention control, helps regulate emotions, and makes you more aware of unhealthy habits that might be pushing your blood pressure up.
Right, and it seems like it goes beyond just the heart, too. Maybe boosting the immune system, reducing inflammation.
That's right. A review from 2023 suggested meditators show better anti-inflammatory responses, maybe even some signs of healthier aging. And for people dealing with chronic pain, there was a big meta-analysis basically pooling results from lots of studies. It found mindfulness meditation can significantly lessen pain severity and improve quality of life.
That's huge for people struggling with ongoing pain. And you mentioned other perks like better sleep and less pain-related anxiety.
Exactly. When you get better at managing your thoughts and emotions through meditation, it kind of spills over. It can quiet that mental chatter that keeps you up at night or reduce the worry that makes pain feel worse. Now, it's important to say meditation isn't some magic bullet, right? But the evidence shows it offers moderate but meaningful benefits, often comparable to other wellness strategies. It can be a really valuable part of a whole person approach to health.
Okay, so we get why it's beneficial, but wow, there are so many types. It feels a bit overwhelming just thinking about where to start. Let's maybe explore some of the main kinds. Mindfulness seems to be the one you hear about most.
That's true. Mindfulness meditation, it comes from Buddhist Vipassana, that's insight meditation. It's really foundational for a lot of modern approaches. The core idea is just focusing your attention on right now without judging it. Often you use your breath as an anchor or maybe sensations in your body. The goal isn't to empty your mind, but to develop this clear, non-reactive awareness of whatever's happening. Thoughts, sounds, feelings.
Just noticing without getting tangled up in the story.
Precisely. And because it's so fundamental and honestly pretty accessible, you can do it anywhere. No special gear needed. It's also the most researched. Its benefits for stress and attention are really well documented.
Okay. Then there's Transcendental Meditation, TM. That's the one with the personal mantra, right?
Yes, TM. Popularized by Maharishi Mahesh Yogi back in the day. The technique involves silently repeating a specific mantra, a word or sound, given to you by a certified TM teacher. You usually practice for about 20 minutes twice a day, sitting comfortably, eyes closed. The idea is the mantra helps quiet the mind, leading to deep relaxation. It's linked to stress reduction, lower blood pressure, things like that, but you do need to learn it from an official teacher.
Gotcha. Sounds a bit more structured. What about loving kindness meditation? That just sounds nice.
It is really nice, yeah. The focus of loving kindness, or metta, is on cultivating feelings of, well, kindness, compassion, goodwill toward yourself and others. You typically repeat these silent phrases like, may I be happy, may I be healthy, starting with yourself, then extending it outwards to loved ones, friends, even difficult people. It's a really powerful way to boost empathy and dial down negative feelings like anger or resentment. Studies show it increases feelings of connection and reduces self-criticism.
That sounds incredibly useful, actually, counteracting some of the negativity out there. And Zen meditation, Zazen, I kind of get the impression that one's a bit more intense. Discipline.
Zazen, yeah, from Zen Buddhism. It does emphasize a very direct experience of presence.
Yeah.
Usually you sit upright, maybe on a cushion, focus on your breath, often down on your belly. The goal is just to be present with whatever comes up, gently bringing your attention back to the breath when you wander. It's typically silent, unlike guided stuff, and sometimes eyes are partly open. It's definitely been refined over centuries in monasteries. It can be challenging for beginners because of the stillness, but it's known for developing deep concentration and equanimity.
Equanimity. Yeah, that sounds like something we could all use more of. Now, body scan meditation, that one seems really practical for physical tension.
It is, yeah. The body scan, or sometimes called progressive relaxation, is more focused on relaxation. You systematically guide your attention through different body parts, noticing sensations, tension, and consciously trying to release it. Sometimes you even tense and release muscle groups. It's a great way to reconnect with your body, let go of stress. Really helpful if focusing just on breath feels tricky. Lots of people find it good for sleep or just unwinding, like a mental massage almost.
Mental massage, I like that. And besides these main ones, there are tons of others, right? Mantras, visualization, movement stuff like yoga.
Exactly. You've got mantra meditation beyond just TM, using any word or phrase. Visualization, where you imagine calming scenes or goals, and movement-based practices like yoga, tai chi, walking meditation. They integrate mindfulness with activity. Great if sitting still is hard. Then there's chakra meditation, qigong. Lots of variations. The key takeaway really is there's no single best type. The best one for you is the one that clicks with your personality and what you're hoping to get out of it.
Okay, finding what works for you. That makes sense. But for someone listening who's maybe never tried it, how do you actually start? What are the first steps?
Starting is actually simpler than people often think. First step, just decide to give it a shot. Then, find a quiet spot where you probably won't be interrupted. Doesn't have to be fancy, just comfortable and peaceful for you. Try setting aside a specific time each day, even just 5 minutes, maybe first thing in the morning, before bed. Helps build a routine. Consistency is really the name of the game.
Consistency, right. And how should you sit? Do you need some special cushion or pretzel pose?
Not at all. Comfort's key, but you want to stay alert, not zoned out. Sit on a cushion, sure, or just a chair with your feet flat on the floor. Main thing is a reasonably straight back, but relaxed so you can breathe easily. Eyes closed helps cut distractions, or just lower your gaze softly if closing them feels weird.
Okay, comfy but alert. Got it. And how long for those first sessions? Trying for like 30 minutes right off the bat sounds intimidating.
Oh, definitely start small. Aim for just 5, maybe 10 minutes. Use a gentle timer so you're not clock watching. Short, regular sessions are way better for building the habit than long, occasional ones. You can slowly increase the time as you get more comfortable, but honestly, even a few focused minutes is beneficial. Think of it like starting running. You don't run a marathon on day one.
Right, small steps.
Yeah.
And then what do you actually do in those minutes? Breath seems to be the common starting point.
Yeah, focusing on the breath is super accessible. Just bring your attention to the feeling of breathing in and breathing out. Notice your chest rising, falling, or the air at your nostrils, whatever's easiest. Your breath is your anchor to right now. When thoughts or feelings or sounds pop up, and they absolutely will just notice them, like, thinking, without judging yourself.
Yeah.
And then gently guide your focus back to the breath.
So it's not about forcing thoughts out, just not getting carried away on the thought train.
Exactly. Think of your mind like a playful puppy. It's going to wander off. That's what minds do. Your job isn't to chain it up, just to gently lead it back again and again to your breath. Don't get frustrated when it wanders. That's totally normal. Just notice and return. That return is the practice.
That puppy analogy helps. What if people feel like they need more hand-holding at the start?
Oh, yeah. Guided meditations are fantastic for beginners. Loads of apps, websites, free videos. They offer sessions on breath, body scans, loving kindness, everything. A teacher's voice gives structure, teaches techniques. Then, as you feel more comfortable, you can mix in some unguided silent practice, too.
And when the timer dings, you just jump up or...
Good point. When the timer goes, take a moment before launching back into your day. Just notice how you feel, physically, mentally. Maybe wiggle your fingers and toes. If your eyes were closed, open them gently. Gradually let your awareness expand back out. It's a nice way to transition and carry some of that calm or clarity with you.
Okay, that sounds doable, but I know people get stuck, like my mind just won't shut up. That's such a common thing to hear.
Probably the most common. And the key thing to remember is, a totally silent mind isn't the goal. It's probably not even possible for most of us. Mental activity is normal. Instead of fighting it, practice that impartial observation we talked about. Every time you notice you're lost in thought, just gently redirect back to your anchor. No big deal. Over time, you'll likely find the focused periods get longer, the thoughts less sticky. Patience is huge.
What about the classic excuse, I just don't have time?
Yeah, that's where starting really small helps. Even 5 minutes is way better than 0 minutes. Look honestly at your day. Where could you carve out just 5? Make it non-negotiable, like brushing your teeth. Maybe tack it on to something you already do, like right after your morning coffee. Consistency really beats duration, especially when you're starting out.
And if you get restless,
Ugh.
or your back starts hurting from sitting.
First, make sure you're actually comfortable. Use cushions, a supportive chair. It's okay to shift your posture mindfully if you need to. If sitting is really tough, try walking meditation instead. Focus on your feet hitting the ground. Maybe do some light stretching before you sit. Your body does adapt over time.
And I guess managing expectations is important too, right? You won't reach nirvana after one session.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Go in with an open mind, not expecting instant miracles. The benefits are usually gradual, sometimes subtle. You might notice shifts in how you react to stress over weeks or months. Trust the process. Try to enjoy the practice itself. And if you miss a day, so what? Just start again tomorrow. Be kind to yourself. That's crucial. Maybe making your meditation spot pleasant helps too. Nice cushion, fewer distractions, makes it more inviting.
Sounds like patience, starting small, finding what fits. That's the core message. Now, meditation has this incredibly rich history, doesn't it? It's not some new fad. Understanding its roots, I think, gives it even more depth. So, now we know the modern science is strong. Let's rewind a bit. How did this practice evolve over, millennia? It gives you context for why it's still so relevant today.
That's right. Its history goes back thousands of years, mostly starting in ancient South Asia, India. The earliest written mentions are in Hindu texts, like the Vedas and Upanishads, maybe around 1500 BCE. They talk about dhyana, meditative contemplation, but some historians think similar practices might go back even further, maybe 3000 BCE in prehistoric rituals.
Wow, okay. Truly ancient roots. And it wasn't just one thing, it branched out.
Exactly. Around the 6th to 5th centuries BCE, you see more formal techniques really taking shape. Think of the Buddha. Siddhartha Gautama. Meditation was central to his path to enlightenment, and he made mindfulness and concentration key parts of his teachings. Around the same time in China, Laozi and the early Taoists were talking about quiet introspection, breathing exercises, aligning with the Tao. So early on, it was often tied to spiritual insight, liberation.
And how did it connect with things like yoga early on?
In ancient India, they were really closely linked. The Yoga Sutras of Patanjali, compiled maybe 400 to 100 BCE, really laid out meditative practice systematically. Meditation and concentration were core limbs of the yogic path. Even the Bhagavad Gita, around 200 BCE, discusses meditation as a way to spiritual realization. So by the end of the first millennium BCE, these practices were pretty developed in both Hindu and Buddhist traditions.
Fascinating. Did these ideas spread much beyond Asia back then?
Mostly stayed within Asia for a long time, yeah. But with trade and travel, some concepts did start trickling west. There's evidence some Greek thinkers, maybe 3rd century CE, were influenced by Eastern ideas. And you see similar contemplative stuff in early Christian mysticism, Jewish Kabbalah, but often more hidden away in monasteries, not really mainstream in the West then.
Right, so it was really thriving in Asia during the Middle Ages, taking different forms as Buddhism spread.
Exactly. Buddhism went across Asia, and meditation adapted with it. Zen Buddhism, Chan, in China, heavily influenced by Taoism, really focused on sitting meditation, Zazen. It hit Japan around the 7th century, became huge. In Tibet, Vajrayana Buddhism used visualization, mantras. Hinduism had devotional meditation alongside yoga. Even Sufi mystics in Islam used chanting, breathwork. Meditation was woven into the fabric of many spiritual paths during that time.
So this core practice was constantly being reshaped, what finally brought it more widely to the West more recently.
The big global spread, beyond just religious circles, really picked up from the 18th century onwards. Western scholars, travelers got seriously interested in Eastern philosophy. Translating key texts, like the Tibetan Book of the Dead in the 1920s, really sparked Western interest. Then, mid-20th century, you had Eastern teachers actively bringing it west. Vipassana teachers like Goenka, Zen masters like D.T. Suzuki, Shunryu Suzuki, Tibetan lamas like Chogyam Trungpa, they set up centers, taught new audiences.
And then the 60s and 70s seemed like a big turning point, the counterculture, Maharishi.
Absolutely huge surge of interest then. People were looking for alternative spirituality, self-discovery, transcendental meditation, TM, pushed by Mahesh Yogi, even the Beatles got into it, brought a simpler mantra style to the masses. Yoga also exploded in popularity then. And a really key moment was Jon Kabat-Zinn developing mindfulness-based stress reduction, MBSR, in '79. He basically took Buddhist mindfulness, stripped out the religious bits, and framed it scientifically for stress and pain. That really bridged the gap to Western medicine.
And since then, it's just gone more and more mainstream, hasn't it? Schools, businesses, therapy.
Totally. By the early 2000s, millions in the West were trying meditation. The rise of mindfulness in the last decade or so, plus all the meditation apps. It's just accelerated things. Now you find it everywhere, secular settings, still within religions. It's pretty amazing how this ancient practice keeps adapting and proving its value globally.
It really is remarkable, something so old, finding new relevance. And speaking of relevance, let's get into the really cutting-edge stuff, AI. How is artificial intelligence starting to, enhance meditation? Seems like an odd couple, ancient practice, high-tech. But it's fascinating how AI is changing things for you.
It truly is. AI is opening up some really interesting doors for meditation, mostly around making it more personal and giving you real-time feedback. One big area is personalized guided meditations. Instead of just picking a generic track, AI can look at your usage, progress, even your mood, and suggest specific meditations that might be best for you right then.
So like a smart playlist for your mind that changes based on how you're doing.
Exactly. These smart algorithms can tweak things like session length, background music, the techniques used, all based on what the AI learns works for you. Headspace, for instance, uses machine learning to tailor suggestions based on your history and how you say you're feeling. It's kind of like having a personal meditation coach that learns alongside you.
That sounds like it could make it way more engaging, maybe more effective too. What about those wearables, like the Muse headband? How does AI fit in there?
Right. Those devices use sensors EEG for brainwaves, heart rate, breathing monitors. AI analyzes those signals while you meditate to give you feedback on your mental state. Muse is a good example. It uses brainwave data and translates it into sound. If your mind's really active, you hear maybe stormy sounds. As you get calmer, focused, the sounds get gentler, quieter. It's direct auditory feedback.
So it's basically biofeedback for your meditation state.
Exactly. That real-time loop, driven by AI, helps you learn what focus feels like and how to maintain it. Some studies suggest this kind of neurofeedback can actually speed up learning meditative control. It gives you an objective signal and guides you back when you drift.
That's pretty cool. What about AI as like a virtual teacher or coach? Could we get meditation chatbots?
We're already seeing early versions. AI agents, chatbots being used for check-ins, answering basic questions, giving encouragement. You can imagine a future AI guiding a whole session with a calm voice, maybe adjusting based on pauses or detected stress, offering tips. Some mental health bots already use similar tech. A personalized AI meditation guide available 24/7. It's definitely possible down the line.
Wow. Excited. Maybe a little sci-fi. And I've seen stuff about VR and AR for meditation too. How does AI boost those experiences?
Yeah, AI can really take immersive meditation up a notch. Imagine meditating in a VR scene, like a peaceful beach, and the AI adjusts the waves or light based on your biosignals. If it senses you're drifting, maybe the scene gently changes to refocus you. We're seeing partnerships like Mind Valley with Apple Vision Pro exploring this. AI could even use your phone camera to gauge facial expressions or breathing and suggest practices. It's all about making it more engaging, giving that instant feedback, and helping you develop the skills faster.
Sounds like AI could really help more people get started and stick with it, make it more interactive. But it's still just a tool, right? It doesn't replace the actual inner work of mindfulness.
Absolutely. AI can be a fantastic assistant, helping you learn, stay motivated, but the core of meditation is still that internal human experience. Cultivating awareness, changing your relationship with your mind. AI gives data and guidance, but it can't do the inner exploration for you. And we still need more research on the long-term effects of these tools, but the potential to help more people build consistent practice and go deeper, it's definitely there. It's wild seeing this ancient practice meet the high-tech age.
It really is. Okay, so wrapping up our deep dive. We've seen how meditation offers really significant benefits, mental and physical, backed by solid science. We looked at all the different types. There's likely one out there that fits you. We talked about how getting started is simpler than you might think. Small steps, patience. And now how AI is starting to offer these new personalized ways to support your practice.
Exactly. The main thing really is maybe just to consider giving it a try, even a few minutes a day. The potential for less stress, better focus, just greater well-being. It's significant, and it's something you can access.
So with this ancient wisdom now getting a boost from cutting-edge tech, what new possibilities for inner peace, for understanding ourselves, might be opening up? Maybe think about what aspect of your own well-being you'd be curious to explore through mindful practice.